stress. Once upon a time, stressors were animals, wild beasts, fighting with other tribes maybe, real life stress. But actually, it still feels like real life, but it's keyboard interface stress. It's financial stresses. It's being stuck in traffic when you need to be somewhere. It's ADHD, behavioural problems. It's other stresses. And the response is exactly the same. Your body reacts to a stress state by your little adrenal glands producing cortisol. Cortisol is the fight or flight hormone that tells your body to either fight or run or hide. And depending on how you feel at the time, depends on the outcome. Could be pretty scary, but what your body's totally geared for is complete survival mode, and it's so intelligent. So in those instances when it's fight or flight or hide, your body shuts down reproduction, and it shuts down digestion, for example, because that's not important at that time. You're not thinking about having babies or going through the process of having babies when you're fighting or hiding or battering beasts. You're really thinking about saving yourself. And what your body actually does is it stores belly fat because your vital organs are around your belly, and that's a survival technique. It shoves belly fat right round that band to protect your vital organs. And obviously it thinks, food is going to be pretty scarce at this moment in time, so we need to get some fat storage on the go. So your body stores fat, it's in fat storage mode. So if you are living in a stress state, which I predict, the stats are 70% of the world's population live in stress states, then your little adrenal glands are amped up to the absolute max most of the time. But that's got loads of, the spin-off or the payoff of that is that when you're coming into your 40s and 50s and you're perimenopausal and menopausal, it's your adrenal glands that are responsible for supporting your body, because the ovaries will stop producing estrogen or slow it down, and your adrenal glands take over. But if you've been living in a stress state for years and years and years, then that's going to be pretty tricky for your adrenals. Your adrenals might be burnt out, you might be worn out, you might be totally stressed. And you're maybe that conditioned to be in that stress state and to function there and to live there that you don't even really know. And adrenal stress could look like this. Sometimes you've got big dark circles, or you've got like trouble under the eye, and you can see it's a discoloration and you don't look well. You think, am I a bit anemic, or am I a discoloration? And you might not be anemic. You crave sugar. You crave carbohydrates, you crave salt, you crave the crunch, you crave the breads, the pasta, the crisps, that crunch of the carbs. That's what you are. You might even crave sugar, particularly when you just wake up. Your body's looking for sugar. What about when you have a really great sleep, but you wake up still shattered? You feel like you could sleep again. You're like, why am I so tired? After, 8-10 hours sleep, that's an indication that you've got adrenal fatigue. What about your moods? You could be really moody. Anxiety is a big one, but your moods are up and down. You are quick-tempered. You are irritable. You've maybe got insomnia. Maybe you don't sleep. So it could go one way or the other. You can get great sleeps and still feel tired, or you just don't sleep because your brain is wired. You've got that anxiety thing, you can't switch off. Once you've had your lunch, you've got that lunchtime slump. These are all signs and symptoms that you could have adrenal burnout or adrenal fatigue. A lunchtime slump is when you could just sleep. You just need a sleep. You're looking for a bed after your lunch. Thyroid problems and adrenal fatigue sometimes go hand in hand. So if you've got a hypothyroid issue, it could be that you've got adrenal fatigue as well. Not necessarily adrenal burnout, but adrenal fatigue because your body's under a constant state of stress. What about if you just feel like you've lost your mojo but over a long period of time? You've got no motivation. You're working with me and I'm doing my job and that's working for you to an extent, but it quickly runs out. You quickly think, yeah, I've lost it again. These are all signs and symptoms that you might have adrenal fatigue. So, anxiety, stress, worry is absolutely real. No matter how much you train, how well you eat, if your body is in a stress state, then you're going to carry belly fat, generally speaking. You might have skinny limbs and skinny arms, but you've just got this belly that you can't seem to get rid of. And if you actually look at your life and you sit down and write down on paper what your life is like through the day, what your daily rituals are like, and if you're running from pillar to post, if you're under constant relationship stress, financial stress, and you're managing it, maybe your relationship is turbulent, maybe you're falling in, falling out, that's really, really stressful. And all of the things that I've talked about in the past about setting boundaries and stuff, it's all so applicable and appropriate to this conversation. If you've got no boundaries, then you're going to be pulled and pushed in loads of different directions. And actually inside, your adrenals and other things, they're going to be tired. You're going to feel tired inside. That's going to affect your cognition, your memory, how you think, how focused you are. You're not going to be very focused. So are you actually going to be able to work towards your goals? Probably not. You're in fight or flight mode from when you wake up. So hold that there. Anxiety is actually Latin for strangle. That sounds pretty scary. So here's some of the signs and symptoms that you are anxious. Now you'll know that you're anxious, but some people, it sounds, obvious, but actually it's maybe not so obvious for some people. I could see people when they're anxious. So here's some of the symptoms. You sweat, you've got the shakes or the jitters, your throat is constricted, or you've got a recurring cough, and it's usually when you're stressed. Some people that are addicted to nicotine need to smoke when they're stressed, or maybe even drink when they're stressed. You focus on the negative a lot. If there's a solution, you're thinking about the problem. You're not looking to solve the issue, you're looking to exacerbate the problem because you're just on that drama triangle type thing. Poor memory, as I said to you before. If you're anxious and pent up and worked up, you're not going to retain things that you need to retain. You maybe retain the things that you shouldn't retain, and that maybe attaches to the negative again. Breathlessness, nausea, dizziness, and again insomnia. So these are some of the signs and symptoms that you're anxious. If you're anxious, put a wee love heart. Or go, yeah, I feel anxious actually, after listening to you. It's not my fault. But if you're anxious, you'll feel it. This will definitely be resonating with you. So anxiety, one of the things that's really great for anxiety is B vitamins, because you're depleted. When you've got adrenal stress, you deplete vitamin B1. And one of the best forms of B1 is nutritional yeast, and a lot of the B vitamins actually. So research that. And the other thing that stress can be offset by is adaptogens, herbal adaptogens. Now, they've been used in medicines and Chinese medicines for thousands of years. However, in the Western world, we think a lot of people are quite sceptical about them. But I've researched them to death, and they are fantastic for helping you offset stress and anxiety. And what I was going to talk to you tonight about was, obviously I've got 4 products. I can't talk to you about them all 4 tonight because it's too much. So there's Activate, which is, the main ingredient is apple cider vinegar, with other things. They're all a blend. Every single product is a blend of different ingredients, all from Mother Earth. No binders, no fillers, no bulking agents, no anything that your body does not need. Boot Up, which is D3 and K2, amongst other things. The Cleanse product, And tonight I'm going to talk to you about recharge. Now, it is absolutely packed, so this is going to be quite a full information session for you. So where will I start? I'm going to start by telling you about cortisol, actually. Cortisol is the stress hormone in the body. Now, when you are stressed, these are the things that cortisol will do to your body. It will push your blood sugar up because it's getting your body ready to fight, hide, run, or do something to get away from the stress. So it makes glucose, it frees glucose up, which in turn pushes insulin up. And when you push insulin up, you probably push triglycerides up as well. So actually, it's kind of triggering a metabolic reaction that you don't want. You don't want insulin to be pushed up, particularly if you've got high blood sugar anyway. So it's bumping it up. So it's making glucose free, like ready to use, fast energy. It turns off, as I say to you, digestion and your immune system. So when you're so stressed, you might feel like you're always getting, bugs and viruses and things. And it's on a repetitive type loop. It's because cortisol is so high that it's shutting down and suppressing your immune system. So you can't fight infections and things. So you are more susceptible to them. High cortisol. You will also decrease insulin sensitivity. You don't want to decrease insulin sensitivity. You want your body to be sensitive to it so as it can react and respond to it to keep homeostasis. But cortisol does the opposite. It decreases the sensitivity of insulin. It makes you hold on to sodium and water. So you might even get puffy ankles. So edema, sodium and water retention. It shuttles and speeds up potassium secretion. So you might feel a combination of fatigue, cramp in your calves, you might get heart arrhythmias, and when you lose potassium, it leads to, or could lead to, anxiety symptoms as well. So that's a big one. That's a huge one to watch for. You'll crave salt and carbs, like I said to you before. You'll want to eat all the stuff that you shouldn't really be eating, the stuff that's going to, the ultra-processed stuff, the stuff that's going to make your blood sugar high. You might also get an increase in gastric acid, which could also lead to ulcers. You might actually find that you've got some sort of burning sensation, like heartburn here. And that could be a stress response as well. I've known people actually who do get that recurring cough and that acid burn, and it's when they're stressed. Your memory and your cognitive function, as I said to you before, reduces. And stress also makes you weak. You feel like your muscles are weak. When it comes to endurance performance or, sustained walks and things, you don't feel like you've got the energy for it. That's all cortisol. Cortisol does all that. Heightened levels of cortisol. Obviously, you need cortisol, and actually, it's a very good anti-inflammatory. And a synthetic form of cortisol is prednisone. And so you need cortisol, it's good. But when it's too high, it does all of this stuff. Okay, here we go. Let's get into what's actually in this incredible little jar. There's 60 capsules in here, and I would recommend 2 per day. So you would need a bottle of this a month. I never go without this. Never. It's absolutely packed. And the research that backs it up, do the reading. I've put it on our pages for you. Please do the reading. It's backed up with research and science and claims, which is amazing. So, first one. What one will we go for? Ashwagandha, or Indian ginseng. The ashwagandha in here is KSM 66. It's pure organic. It is phenomenal, the product. Now, the benefits of ashwagandha are huge. They're extensive. There's over 40 odd research papers that show that ashwagandha actually combats stress and anxiety. So much, and there's so much more as well going on in the background. Here's some of them. So, ashwagandha could reduce arthritis. Signs and symptoms of ADHD. It could reduce cortisol and has been shown to reduce cortisol levels by 28%. So I've just told you what cortisol does. Heightened levels of cortisol, 28%, that's massive. It's an ideal stress relief formula. It also curbs food cravings. It also helps in weight loss and weight management. Thinking all that in one little herb. It's phenomenal, which is why it's been used in countries like India for thousands and thousands of years. Who knew? Until you do the research, how do you know? You don't, do you? It reduces blood sugar. It helps offset the feelings and signs and reactions of, not reactions, the feelings of depression and anxiety. Inflammation calms inflammation down. It helps brain function and cognition. So when you hear about cortisol and everything it does, it's basically combating everything that cortisol does. Heightened levels of cortisol. It's massive. It has anti-inflammatory properties, which is amazing if you've got any itis, so bursitis, tendinitis, arthritis, amazing. It's amazing also for autoimmune conditions. Now, if you've got an autoimmune condition, you might need to take a higher dosage. Now, please research that and speak to your doctors and things. But it's quite common that a lot of, supplementation that you might take, for example, D3, you might need a higher dosage of that for it to actually take hold and take effect. Because the autoimmune condition, you've got a lot working against you. So bear that in mind. Ashwagandha improves insulin sensitivity. So if cortisol decreases it, ashwagandha is doing the opposite. And therefore it's maintaining homeostasis. Basically an adaptogen helps your body's levels. When I say levels, I'm talking about heart rate, temperature, blood sugar, your levels. Maintain homeostasis where they need to be and not this one extreme to the other. Keeps you calm. So it's a massive calming agent, if you like. The main ingredient of or ashwagandha is withanolides, and they're a phytochemical, and they act like a steroid in the body. Hugely beneficial. It also increases and has been shown to increase testosterone. You think, well, I don't need that. But actually, see, for all the workouts, athletic performance, everybody, man and woman, needs a level of testosterone. It's one of the hormones that you do need. Obviously, men need more. But it will help in athletic performance and strength training. So anything physical, it will help you improve. It also modulates the HPA axis. Now the HPA axis is the hypothalamus, the pituitary gland, and the adrenal axis. So think of this. Any stress that your body identifies with, the hypothalamus in your brain, the centre in your brain thinks, right, okay, that's a stress. This is real. Whether it's an interface or whether it's a saber-toothed tiger, doesn't matter. The response is the same. So from the hypothalamus sends a signal to the pituitary gland to say, right, we're going to have to do something here. Then the signals go out to the adrenal glands to say, right, okay, this is a stress situation. Shit, let's ramp up. So cortisol goes through the roof, really, and that is supposed to get your body to react to the stress state. So an adaptogen helps modulate that axis. It's incredible, isn't it? It's amazing. And we have got the KSM 66 is the premium blend of ashwagandha, not blend, premium ingredient, which is ashwagandha, and it's from India. It's amazing. You can get any ashwagandha. Research it though. KSM 66 is the best. Told you before, like if I've said this a lot, I wouldn't bring anything and I wouldn't put my time and effort and energy into bringing anything to you that was not the best. There's sea greens in here as well, which I'll talk to you about in a couple of minutes. But sea greens, they're also the world's premium brand of sea greens. You can get seaweed from anywhere. Is it organic? No. They're bringing seaweed in from anywhere and everywhere, full of chemicals and it's been treated with loads of different things. We don't want that. We're eating really clean. We've got rid of GMO and pesticides and herbicides and insecticides. We're not wanting it in our supplements. So why would you buy it? Why would you make it? I wouldn't. Okay, so that's ashwagandha, Indian ginseng. Okay, rhodiola is also in here. That is another adaptogen, as if we've not got enough. And it's also another stress-busting adaptogen. Just very quickly, rhodiola is it helps fight or combat fatigue. It helps improve strength endurance, muscular strength endurance, actual endurance, like when you're trying to do sustained aerobic activity. Rhodiola is amazing for that. And it helps manage anxiety and stress also. So there's a thread that's woven through this whole input, if you like, and it's stress. This is my stress relief formula. I don't know anything that could do it any better than this. Okay, good. Sea greens is also in here. Registered trademark sea greens. I've shared it on the page. I'll make it accessible on my other pages. Please do your reading. It's organic. It is the premium blend of certified organic seaweed, an incredible species, and it's in our recharge supplement. How exciting is that? Could you imagine how excited I was when this actually landed in my hands? Years and years and years of data gathering. Years and years and years of learning your craft to know that you've got it in here. It's just in this wee bottle. So very quickly, tons of vitamins and sea greens, if you think about what's in seaweed. Hugely beneficial. Vitamins, minerals and trace elements that you need. Helps support thyroid function and iodine. Supports weight management. It's also an amazing detox and an amazing cleanse and a liver cleanse. Particularly cleanses lymph nodes, blood circulation, your circulation, kidneys, and your digestive tract. And it supports the growth of good bacteria in the digestive tract. That's really important because when you've had a diet, the standard American diet, a standard British diet, standard Australian diet, whatever, and it's full of refined carbohydrates and sugars and ultra processed food and fibreless food, we kill all of the good bacteria. So much so that we'll have things like SIBO, small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, and other things similar. And then we destroy the gut lining as well. So we've got permeable, leaky gut. So we're really cultivating good flora and a really healthy microbiome through sea greens. Amazing. When I'm telling you, it sounds very much like a sales pitch. And honestly, this is no sales pitch. This is just telling you facts on what this actually is. Reishi mushrooms, the old, I keep saying incredible, medicinal mushrooms are absolutely fantastic. I need you to research medicinal mushrooms. So very quickly, help strengthen your immune system. Again, reduce stress and fatigue and anxiety. Supports adrenal function. So this is our adrenal support formula, really. It's again an adaptogen. And we'll leave that there for now. Tons and tons of benefits. Next one, magnesium citrate. Now, magnesium helps the body calm and relax. Now, it's citrate, so it's gentler on the body. It assists in bone health because it helps the transportation of calcium into bones. It reduces stress levels. Provides relief for anxiety and stress. promotes a healthy immune system. So that together with our boot up formula, D3 and K2, they work together. It also is an amazing constipation aid. Magnesium citrate helps you go. There's L-theanine in there too, which is an amino acid found in black tea and green tea. Reduces stress, promotes awakeness and improved cognition, so you feel ready to start your day when you get up in the morning. And it's very balancing and it's very calming. All of that in one little bottle. How amazing. Please, I've shared research papers. There's tons of them. Please do your own research. And I have shared the information on Seagreens KSM 66. This is the bomb. Recharge. It's on the website.